Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. Again, hello. I am excited to be on this call tonight. Branding is kind of like my thing. If I wasn't a Beachbody coach, I always say that I would love to help people brand whatever they're trying to, their business or product or anything they're trying to do themselves. And so I really enjoy helping coaches brand themselves. So a little bit about my background. Like you said, I am a dental hygienist by trade. And I had no intentions of going full-time with the business, but kind of just fell in love with everything that it had to offer. And within a year and a half, I did go full-time as a coach and haven't looked back since. I have a newborn. He's 2 months old. You might hear him scream in the background, so I just wanted to alert you of that just in case. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I am someone who's very visual, and I like to have, almost like worksheets for you guys to take with you. So I'm going to walk through some stuff. I have a big folder I'm going to share with you guys right now in the chat box, so that you guys, and don't think that this is like homework or something crazy. But for me, I just like to have something that I can actually work through, because everybody is different. So anything that I try to tell you that I do is not going to work, because you're going to be completely different. Your circumstances are different. Your story is different. So it's really important for you guys to have those materials. So let me just share my screen really quick. And you guys can hear me okay, right? Perfect. Let me see here. There we go. All right, and can you see my screen? Okay, awesome. All right, so whenever you guys open up this, the little link that I put in the chat box, I hope that it went to this, went to something else, let me know. But you'll see that the first thing is the DISC test. I'm not gonna go through all of this because I think it's important, like I said, for you guys to do this stuff on your own, but it's almost like a little boot camp that you can do with yourself. I'm gonna go over creating killer content, because I think that a lot of people kind of know their brand already, they just don't know how to attract them. So I'm gonna go over this, but I just wanna walk through some of this first so that you guys understand what this stuff is up here. So the DISC test, you guys probably have heard of, like, I don't know, do you guys do the DISC test at all? Because I know a lot of people do the colors.
We do the gems.
The gems. Yeah, so I couldn't identify with the gems, because when I took the test, I was kind of a mix of all of them. And so I was like, I'm competitive, but I love helping people. But I'm also, you can tell I'm emerald. I like to be organized and compartmentalize things. So I couldn't figure out where I belonged, and it didn't help me attract my brand at all. But then I took, I'm on Barbie Kalev's downline, and she had a DISC test by Tony Robbins, and she let us take it one day, and it just like opened up my eyes to everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly, it helps you figure out you and what you're motivated by. It helps you work on your strengths and weaknesses, which is huge. But also what's really cool about it is it helps you kind of see, because obviously we attract, like attracts like. So it helps you speak to the you that kind of identifies with. So for me, I'm very individualistic. I like to have my freedom, and I didn't really realize that before. So as a dental hygienist, it made total sense why I was miserable, because I had these blocks of time. I was never able to be on my phone at work. So with Beachbody, obviously I have all this freedom now, and I didn't like being told what to do, how to do it. I didn't like being an employee, and that DISC test kind of told me that. So taking that test kind of helps you identify with yourself things that you may not realize that you can use to attract other people to you. So as soon as I took that test and read the book, I highly recommend it, Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard, it really helped me identify with the people who are looking for what I was looking for at that point in time, because I wasn't a full-time coach yet whenever I decided to start branding myself a certain way towards like the freedom and being home with my future kids and things like that. And of course your guys' goals may not be that, but that was mine. And so it helped me create posts that spoke to that person. So it's really important to kind of know yourself before you go out and try to attract anybody else. So first you got to know yourself. Lesson number 1 is just a Facebook facelift. You're going to go through that, and basically it's going to help you tune up your Facebook and make it look like curbside appeal is going to look awesome. So you just want to make sure that everything looks nice and neat and tidy for people to go to your page. And then lesson number 2 is social media, kind of just basically going through, there's a couple good videos in there and then a chart, and I'll just bring it up real quick here. A little chart that I share with my team that helps them kind of see what they should be sharing, and how much and what kind of posts and things like that. So it just kind of helps you figure out what you should be sharing as a coach. And then lesson number 3 is probably one of the most important, is crafting your story. So a lot of coaches, especially new coaches, if you're on the call, you might be thinking, oh, I don't have a story to share. I'm not unique. I can't stand next to another coach and somebody choose me over them. This really helps you walk through why you're a coach, how you can share that in a way that attracts other people, but attracts the right people. And I always tell my coaches, like, you might post that and get crickets, but the right people are likely watching and waiting for you to succeed. They want to see you succeed. And I'm sure some of you guys on the call have witnessed this. You know, somebody will come to you 6 months later and say, I've been following you for 6 months and I've been following your journey. And you're like, they've never commented on my stuff. They've never sent me a message, and they've never even liked any of my stuff. I didn't even know they existed. So those are the type of people that you want to attract whenever you're posting these things, especially your story. So with my new coaches, I actually go through crafting their story in the beginning. And then after they've been a coach a little bit, usually their why and their story changes a little bit. So I help them kind of recreate that later. And then lesson number 4 is knowing your 5. So that's just knowing the 5 things that basically define you or make up your interests. And so knowing those and being able to share those to connect to other people. And then creating your avatar. Do you guys create about? So an avatar is basically I'll pull it up really quick. An avatar is basically a fictional person, your ideal person that you want to attract to your team. So you'll go through, I have a video that walks through how to do this. So this is basically like my avatar, the type of person that I'm trying to attract. So that video that's in there will walk through all of that. So I'm not going to go through this, but that helps you identify. And before I keep going, guys, the other good thing about this, and I know that I talked to him a little bit about this as well, is I do Facebook ads. And you cannot successfully do Facebook ads. You can in a way, but you can't do them really successfully for little time and money put in unless you really know your target market. Because if you're just out there, you know, blasting your stuff to everybody, you're going to waste money and you're going to waste time and you're going to get frustrated. But if you are really honed into who the person is you're trying to attract, it makes it really simple for you to go in and start doing Facebook ads, which I believe right now in our business is really important. I don't know who was at Summit, but I had to listen from afar because I was 2 weeks postpartum or a week postpartum. And Gary Vee talked about Facebook ads and investing in those. And I think it's really important. However, I don't advise jumping into that until you really know your market. And sometimes that takes a few months as a coach, because sometimes people don't know who they're trying to attract just yet. They don't know what they've really got, you know, to offer other people just yet, and they're not confident in doing so. So it takes a little bit of time, and of course, takes some time to build up your like page as well. And then number 6, we're going to go over, which is creating killer content. I'm just going to hop right into that. So once you know your market and you know your target market, and this kind of helps you identify your target market as well, you can go through these questions. So the very first question is, what is the number 1 question I get asked all the time as a coach? So you can think about that, and if anybody wants to throw something into the chat box that they happen to get asked all the time. For me, I get asked all the time because I put a YouTube video out 2 years ago almost about overcoming my binge eating disorder. I get a lot of emails about how I did it, because my video didn't really explain how I did it in depth. It just said I overcame it and this is what I had been through. So I get asked that a lot. So that can help you create content to post on social media that can attract more of those people that you can relate to, because obviously you want to attract people who you can talk to, relate to, and automatically trust you, so they have something in common with you. Number 2, what should my ideal customer or avatar be asking me that they are not asking me yet? So this is really good for coaches who feel like, you know, I don't have anybody. I feel like nobody's interested. You know, nobody's coming to me, because I'm going to be honest, guys, I am not a coach who mass message people, or I never message people behind the scenes to invite to challenge groups. That just wasn't something I ever did. What I did was I kind of used Facebook as my open journal and attracted people to me. And I'll say that I think that business is easier that way, because my funnel is always full. I'm always, I log in at the first of the month, and I've already got Success Club points, from the month previous, just from people who have come to me, and I don't have to go out there and dig for people. And that's a good feeling. However, it has slowed down a little bit, as Facebook gets a little bit more noisy, but it still remains the same because my market is narrowed in, and it changes too. So remember too that you might go through this now, and then in 3 months, do it again and be like, oh, my market's changed just a little bit because I wasn't a mom 3 months ago. Now I'm a mom. So things have changed a little bit. But what are some things that your ideal customer avatar should be asking that they're not? And so for coaches, they should be asking you, can I join your next challenge group? If they're not asking you that, then that means you are not posting enough about it. They should be asking you, what do you do as a coach? If they don't know what you do as a coach, post more about it. Or if people aren't asking you about that, you need to be posting that you are a coach and you're willing to accept clients right now. Because if they're asking you that, then obviously you haven't been posting enough about it. I usually take what people are asking me in private messages and find a way to post about that publicly. So like here recently, somebody sent me a message that said, hey, are you going to have another challenge group like you did last month? Because I wasn't able to join it last month. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't even posted a call out for my challenge group this month because I hadn't even thought about it yet. And so you get the questions that people are asking you behind the scenes and find a way to post about it. Number 3, what are your top 3 posts on Facebook in the last 6 months? So if you have a like page, that's easier to find out because it actually ranks those. And you can just YouTube or Google how to find that out. It's super simple. But if you don't have a like page, you can usually tell which posts get the most interaction. For a lot of people, they'll say, well, any of the posts with my kids tend to get a lot of interaction. Well, find a way to weave in your kids with working out or your kids with meal prep, and finding ways to work in things that get the most likes and comments into health and fitness. Because the majority of coaches will say, my health and fitness posts get like no views and no likes or comments, but then I'll post a picture of my kid, throwing stuff everywhere, and all of a sudden it gets a ton of views. Just find a way to weave in coaching or what you can offer them. Number 4, which experts does my ideal customer avatar find valuable, or whose opinion do they value? So that really just helps you kind of target in on who do they follow and who do they find credible, that you can kind of go to that person and be like, okay, why do they find them credible? Because you want these same people to come to you, that you want them to be checking your page every day for an update or just to follow you. So who do they admire or follow that you can kind of emulate or take some notes from? Number 5, what could my ideal customer or avatar talk about all day long? So you should know that because it's usually what you want to talk about all day long. And so if you hone into that, then of course you can create posts that can speak to that person. Number 6, what is my ideal customer avatar most afraid of? This is going to be different for everyone, but I always say, go back to the you before you started Beachbody. And that's what I do with most of these questions. I go back to the me before I knew about Beachbody, and if somebody would have posted something specific to one of these questions, what would they have needed to post to help me get on board or say yes? So for me, what was I most afraid of back before I started Beachbody was failing, because I had tried anything and everything in the past. The cabbage soup diets, the diet pills, Atkins, all of this crazy stuff in the past. And so when I saw a T25 infomercial, I thought it's an infomercial. It's, a scam. It's, not going to work for me. If somebody would have just posted on social media, hey, I just completed T25, and found a way to weave in, I've tried anything and everything, and me being able to see if they're a real person and not on an infomercial. And guys, our infomercials are, today I saw Size and another one on there, and I'm like, gosh, we are really all over direct TV, which is great. But the people who don't have anybody to personally connect to through that, may not see that as something that can actually work for them unless you're talking about it. So anyway, if I would have just had somebody reach out, and post on social media, hey, I started T25. I had tried the cabbage soup diet. I had tried Atkins before and nothing worked for me. I paid a gym membership and it was going down the drain because I didn't have time to make it to the gym. And finally I was able to get, these results in 25 minutes. And if somebody would have done that who I could relate to in some way, I would have jumped on board way sooner than when I first saw that T25 infomercial. Same thing with coaching. If someone would have, I thought it was a scam. So if somebody would have posted about how it's not a scam or how they thought it was a scam too, then I would obviously be able to connect to them. Now, of course, I'd have to, have other things in common with them to make me automatically trust them. So that's why it's so important to be, posting about those things. So think about something that you were most afraid of before you started coaching or before you started your health and fitness journey. Number 7, what does my ideal customer avatar need to know about me? So there might be things that you think your new followers know or everybody knows, and I'll find out that sometimes I'll post on my on Snapchat or on my like page, and somebody will say, oh, I had no idea that you used to have a binge eating disorder. And so I try to weave that into my posts, even though I might feel like it's redundant sometimes, and I'm like, oh, everybody's seen this. Or I'm sure some of you guys can relate. How many times have you been like, I don't want to post my before and after again because everybody's seen it? Well, you have new followers and you can't assume that everybody's seen it. Just make the post a little bit different. Today's Transformation Tuesday. After you get off the call, make your post a little bit different. Just a while ago, I was like, in my before and after picture for Country Heat, I was like, man, my chin looks so much different. I could just zoom in on my chin and be like, oh my gosh, my double chin was gone from Country Heat. I had no idea that would even change that much. So just finding different ways to share things. Number 7, what does my ideal customer or avatar need to know about me? Oh, shoot, I just did that one. Number 8, what is my ideal customer avatar posting on Pinterest or watching on YouTube? So that's kind of the same thing with who do they follow, who do they listen to. So what are they doing on Pinterest? It's usually what you're doing on Pinterest. So what do you go to Pinterest for? Some of you guys, I don't know if there's anything relatable to the men's version of Pinterest, but what do you go to Google and Google about? But if you go to Pinterest, what are you usually searching for? For me, it was like, I would go and look for Fitspiration quotes. So if that's what your people are or that's what you're searching for, it's usually what your ideal person would be searching for as well. But again, go back to the you before you started Beachbody and before you started your health and fitness journey, to help you kind of figure out how you could speak to that person, that you, before you started. Number 9, what is the real need that I can satisfy underneath my want? Ideal customer. So how can you satisfy that and write it down? And then you have to find a way to make a post around that, so they understand that you can help them with that. But you have to know what your customer wants. So for me, my people right now, my avatar wants to lose the baby weight. So you have to really get specific. So it's not just hit their goals. It's my people want to lose the baby weight and get back to fit because, they had 9 months of torture with pregnancy like I did. But then a guy might say, my ideal customer wants to put on 10 pounds of muscle mass. So how can you make posts around that help them understand that you can help them do that? Same thing with coaching. So maybe your ideal customer avatar, the you before you started, wanted freedom. How can you create a post that helps people understand that you can help people do that? So is this making sense, guys? Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. I don't want to be going too fast or too slow for you guys. Number 10, what could help my ideal customer avatar right now? So thinking of ways to, when you're scrolling Facebook, there's a lot of useless stuff going on. And remember that we have a lot of coaching friends. So it tends to get a little noisy sometimes. But before I was in Beachbody, I would scroll and I would see just useless stuff. But if I would have seen somebody say, hey, you want to see my meal plan for next week? And I knew this person had had amazing results with the program. I'd be like, holy cow, I want to see their meal plan. And that would help them right then and there. Posting a video, we are so good about posting videos of our own workouts, but we get out of the habit of knowing that people don't want to just watch us do workouts that they can't do. It doesn't help them. It might motivate them a little bit, but it's usually just motivating other coaches. Or inspiring other coaches might get people interested in your program that you're doing. But creating videos based off of the program that you're doing, take a few of the exercises and make your own video and say, hey, here's a quick workout you can do without weights, without any equipment, in a small little space, no excuses. Comment below to get it done and tag a friend to do it with you. Just getting something out there to people that adds extreme value, because there's so much crap on social media. And if you're the one adding value and helping, people in some way right then, it really gets them noticing you and wanting to go to your page for more of that stuff. Somebody who's really, really good at that is Megan Ewelson. If you go to her page, every other day or every day, she posts a workout that people can actually do at home that makes them feel like they are working out with her, but it just gets them interested in what she's doing and following her. And it helps them right then and there. Number 11, what are the top 3 things that are preventing my ideal customer avatar from buying a challenge pack, joining my challenge group, or my team? So what are the biggest objections that you get? Usually it's time and money, 2 of the things that people waste the most. So for me, it's usually right now time, because a lot of the people I'm attracting are new moms who have newborns. So they're like, I can't even imagine, trying to find time for the workout. So what do? I post a lot and I try to weave in, I can't believe that I got this workout done while Theodore napped. I can't believe that this workout was only 30 minutes and I burned 300 calories while Theo was upstairs and Jason gave him a bottle really quick. Trying to weave that in so that it connects to those people who give me those excuses of, I don't have time. So think about the biggest excuses that you get and find a way to break those excuses and prevent those excuses from happening in the first place by posting about it. Somebody who is really, really good at this is Bonnie Engel. If you go to her page, you will see that almost every day she's posting about the coach opportunity and some sort of excuse that people usually have. She's very good at that. So that is someone that I would follow for examples of that. Number 11, I keep going back. Mom brain. Number 12, what is something my ideal customer is not expecting from me, but if I created it, it would knock their socks off? So this is just, again, helping you create something that can add value to your people. So we all know with coaching and with any business in general, somebody that gives extreme value for nothing up front usually gets paid back tenfold later. So I'm a big advocate for putting a ton out there for free in hopes that you will get paid back later. We always say you should do stuff and not expect anything in return, but let's be honest, we have a business. I put stuff out there for free because I expect people to come back because business has shown me that works. So right now I'm actually hosting a boot camp that I just kind of threw together myself that's all free based off of Beachbody On Demand. It is completely free. All I had to do is get the Beachbody On Demand trial. I have 60-something new Beachbody On Demand trial people this month, and I would say over 25% a week and a half in are already saying they want to keep Beachbody On Demand. I really think that our business is moving more towards the digital part of everything because it's easier and people like that. So I'm trying to get people acclimated with Beachbody On Demand, and it's amazing once they get their feet wet with that. They're like, oh my gosh, there's so much with Beachbody On Demand. I can't believe it's only $39 a quarter. They're really surprised by that. So I did this group for free and put a ton of value into this group. So I go live every other day and make sure they have questions and stuff like that. But it's 21 days, which I've never done a free 21-day group in my life. But I did it for 21 days, and I created a schedule because I'm forward thinking with Core de Force launching in November. I was like, okay, how can I get people interested in this? So I created a schedule that was based off of some of the Turbo Fire workouts, because obviously you have on Beachbody On Demand the entire workouts for Turbo Fire, the entire program. And then I added in like P90X3 MMX workout and a couple other workouts that are tailored to kickboxing and MMA style workouts to get people kind of interested in that. And what's really cool is at the end of the group, which is next week, they will have the sneak peek of Core de Force. So just the other day, since the elite coaches got a sneak peek, instead of doing the daily workout with them, I said, I'm going to do the Core de Force sneak peek because I got, access to it, and I posted the video in there, and they're all like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And I said, yeah, I might, and I just nonchalantly said, I might create a group just like this one, but we'll all be doing that program together instead. And they're like, I want in. So I already got a lot of commitments from that. So trying to find ways that, your strengths, whatever your strengths might be. Like I know a coach who is really good at helping people financially plan because he's a financial advisor. So he runs like free budget groups or free budget meal plans and things like that. And so finding something that's tailored to your strengths that you can help people with, and being creative, where people are like, I can't believe that this is free, because right now this boot camp I'm running, people are like, I can't believe that I'm doing this at no cost. And they're loving it. And of course they want to refer other people to do that as well. Number 13, what is my ideal customer avatar embarrassed to admit? So for me, usually right now it used to be they were afraid to admit that they had a binge eating disorder or an emotional eating disorder. Sometimes in the past too, like that they've used diet pills. So think about the you before you started, what you would be super embarrassed to have admitted. And maybe you're on your new coach journey and you're like, I have skeletons in the closet I'm not ready to talk about. That's completely fine. It took me 6 to 7 months as a coach before I finally became strong enough to be vulnerable about my binge eating disorder. And I just hooked up a camera and pushed record and posted it to YouTube. And now it's got, 80,000 views or something like that. And I get a lot of people from there. But it was very vulnerable and I was ready to talk about it. So when you're ready to talk about those things, it is important to be vulnerable. And if you have some issues with being vulnerable, read the book, The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. It's a really great book for that, and it helps you understand why being vulnerable is good for you in a selfish way. So it really helps you heal yourself, because I know for sure if I wouldn't have opened up about that and spoke a lot about it, that I would not be where I am today as far as healed from that binge eating disorder. Number 14, what has my ideal customer avatar tried in the past that has not worked for them? So writing down all the things that maybe you tried before Beachbody that didn't work for you, and making sure that you're talking about those things. And you guys can, go through these questions and create, an Excel sheet, or lay out a piece of paper and say, every Tuesday I'm going to make a point to make a post about things that I've tried in the past that didn't work for me. And every Wednesday, I'm going to make sure that I post about, what on number 13, what are they embarrassed to admit? Post about a little bit about my history and, how I got started with Beachbody, and, how it's healed me through everything through my binge eating disorder and things like that. So that you have kind of a rotation of killer content to always put out there to attract your perfect or ideal client. Number 15, what does my ideal customer avatar need to believe before they buy a challenge pack or join a challenge or join my team? So obviously, I think for a lot of us, they need to believe that it's going to work, because people are afraid of failure. So how can you get your story across in a way that makes someone feel like this will work for me? So just finding a way that you can explain that or express that in a way that relates to them. So after answering all these questions, there's some tips down here and everything, but this will really help you kind of hone into who you should be talking to, with all the exercises before this one, but also what to say. Because I've learned that a lot of the branding stuff that I've done, the branding training that I've been a part of, they help you find who you should be looking for, but don't really help you figure out how. So that's the how, is this part. And that's what I think is the most important. It helps you constantly have content. Something else that you can do if you're having a really hard time figuring out who your market is, just ask some of your past challengers, surveying them, surveying your friends, thinking about, for me, when I first started, I would think, okay, who's the best challenger in my challenge group? And I would go to that person and say, how can I attract more people like you? Because you rock this, and I want to help more people, and you got amazing results, and you participated every day, and I want more people just like you. What could I have said better, or what could I have done better to help attract more people like you? Not only does that usually end in them signing up to coach, but it helps you edify them and let them know that they did an amazing job, and it makes them think, oh, I could be a good coach if I'm doing this so well. But it helps you find out who you should maybe what you should say differently, or what you could say differently, because we're constantly a work in progress. And then get on the phone and speak to your ideal clients. And I know that sounds scary, but that could be your coaches. So if you've signed up a couple coaches who are rock stars, again, getting on the phone with them and saying, what could have I done differently to get you to, push the pedal to the metal sooner, and said that you were going to join as a coach. I had one of my 5-star coaches on that I signed up that'll hopefully be elite this year. She watched me for like 6 months. So I was like, what could I have posted that would have made you sign up sooner? Because you watched me for so long. And she said, the moment you posted about having training for me and letting me know that you had my back, in a post call out that I did that was completely ridiculous, by the way. It was like when I first started. But I posted this call out that was like, I'm going to do an elite training where I'm going to mentor 5 people. And it sounded all business-like. And that attracted her because she wanted to know that I had her back, and she wanted to know that she had training. She didn't want to just sign up and not have someone help her. So that reminded me that every time that I post a coach call out, I need to make sure that I say, and I will be mentoring you every step of the way to help people, through that. So I hope that makes sense. And then into the challenge group survey, you'll see down here when you click on it, I just ask people kind of how the group went, what I could have done differently. And that just helps me not only be kind of transparent with them, because I don't want people to think like I'm so great and I don't need to improve on anything. But it helps me kind of know what I can change in the future to attract more people like them and make my challenge group super attractive for people to want to join. So that is that. And let's see, what time is it? Whew. I feel like I talked a mile a minute there. Sorry, guys. And then lesson number 7, creating value for your avatar. These are just going to be, I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are just some more questions that you can ask yourself. And you'll see all these little questions like, what objections do I tend to get? How can I talk about these more openly? So just more questions there to help you. And then this is creating a solution-driven mission statement. This is really good because it really helps you go through and understand not only who you're trying to attract, but why. And so whenever you're out there inviting people and you're tending to get a lot of no's, it's important to go back to your mission statement so you kind of remember why you're doing this, who you're trying to attract, and why you want to attract them, because you know that you can help them. And then this is really good. This is a video by Chelsea Pearson, and this is just helping you never run out of content. So on those days that you feel like I have absolutely nothing to post about today, and I've actually had one of those days. Today I'm like, nothing exciting really happened. I haven't posted a whole lot, and I could go here and say, okay, what am I struggling with right now, and how can I share this? And really good on Facebook right now is live video. So you could even do a live video about one of these topics. Number 9, what was my light bulb moment that finally got me to blank? So you could go live and say, this is what finally got me to make a move and take control of my health and fitness, and maybe you relate. So those are just some ideas for you as well. So with that said, any questions, you guys?
Let's shrink down your screen if you can. There we go.
I stopped share.
Yeah, there's a stop share. So let's see what people have to say. Are there any questions from anyone here? If you guys can, type them up. Yeah, pretty much everyone here is on through webcam, so I just muted the webcams.
Okay, how do you manage all of your challengers and not get lost in everything? For me, I use a system called Streak through Gmail. When I was a dental hygienist, I obviously, like I said, I didn't have access to my phone and I couldn't be on my phone very much during the day. So my working hours really were, there's some coaches who work at a desk job and are able to check in on Facebook and things like that, but I couldn't. So for me, it was all Facebook, and I started noticing that people kind of got lost in the cracks through Facebook Messenger once I started building up, quite a bit of a clientele. And, if anybody is engaged on this call, that was my biggest business builder. When I got engaged, I was like, okay, light bulb, I can do a sweating for the wedding challenge. So that's when I created this whole kind of, avatar of this person that I was trying to attract that was engaged. And what's really cool is if you decide to do Facebook ads, you can target people who are engaged in a certain age group, people who are, like wedding pages and things like that. So it really targeted the perfect person. And then obviously I targeted too dental hygienists, nurse, medical professionals, because they automatically related to me. And it'd be so funny because a lot of them are coaches on my team now from 2 years ago when I did these Facebook ads, and some of them were dental hygienists, and so now I'm teaching them to do this, and they're like, wait, did you target me? And I'm like, yeah, sorry guys, I did, but it was for good reason, and I'm glad I did. So yeah, anyway, I use Streak, and so it's like an app that you can set up on Gmail, but I have some YouTube tutorials that can help with that so that people don't get lost. And I also have a Google spreadsheet that I've used in the past before I used Streak. So just kind of like a simple Excel sheet. I can actually, share that with you guys. I don't care to do that. But it helps kind of manage my whole business. And then I had little tabs at the bottom for my different contacts for groups. And then let's see. What if you're younger and you don't have the experience in having a baby and losing baby weight and such? So that's where that in the Google Drive that I shared, in the folder, there's a place that helps you create your own story. So your story is going to be completely different than mine. So mine is, losing the baby weight right now, but that's not what it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it was getting in shape for my wedding. A year before that, it was just trying to eat healthier. I had no idea what clean eating was. I had severe migraines. I was deep in a binge eating disorder. I was depressed. And I didn't know that Shakeology and T25 existed and could help me for over a year. And so if someone would have just talked about that on social media, I would have been like, oh my gosh, you're my saving grace. You want people, and there's probably times you've done this to someone else, you want people to be like, oh my gosh, you're speaking right to me today, or you spoke to me in that last post. When you start getting those types of messages, you know you're doing something right. Let's see. Can I have a copy of the documents you used for this call? Yes, so all of that is linked in the chat box, if you guys, at the top. If you guys can't see that, just let me know. What is one thing that keeps me motivated? Right now, my motivation is really my challenge groups. Because I'm exhausted a lot of the time with a newborn right now, I know I have to check in with my challenge group. So I know that after this call, I have to go post a sweaty selfie, or they're going to be like, wait, where have you been? And I used to think that didn't matter. But even this week, I have people fill out a weekly form, just like that end of the week form, which is a little bit shorter. And I ask them, what do you need from me, or what do you need me to do to help you on this journey? Or is there anything that I can improve this week for you? And one of the people said, I just need to know that you're doing this with us. And that's all she wanted. Out of all the things that I could offer as a coach, she just wanted to know that I was doing it with her. So that's what kind of keeps me motivated right now. Do you find the new app helpful, and do you currently have any challengers doing the health bet? Yes. So I think I had 12 people in the health bet. And I really like the app. The only thing I wish the app had was better video capabilities, because I do a lot of live video. I think it's so important for people to feel like not that you're their friend, but that they have a connection to you and that you're a real person. Because let's be honest, sometimes social media can feel like there's a brick wall between all of us. And ever since I became a full-time coach, I say it all the time, I kind of wish that we met more in person. Even though I'm an introverted person, sometimes it's nice to just go out and see people, because we get, usually it's just a post and a picture and words. But it's really nice. If I was typing all this out right now, you guys would be like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. Click away. But if you saw me with a video talking about it and being able to use my expressions and my excitement, it would be totally different. Let's see. My number one excuse I run into is I've got too much workout stuff. I don't want to start another before I finish what I have. Any suggestions on this? So Christy, are those people who are already your clients that are saying this, or do you just tend to attract people who are already into working out? Because that would help me kind of answer that. Unless it's, I would assume that it's either you already have like clients that, are saying that, or people who you attract just tend to already be working out. Let's see. Did you find most of your signups were from talking on the phone as opposed to sending messages and influencing through social media? So for me, I usually didn't get on the phone a whole lot. For me right now, and back then was all through messaging, but right now what I do more than anything is voice messaging through Facebook. I think that people, it's a quick way of not having to get on the phone, and because I used to get on the phone, and what ended up happening, a 15-minute call would turn into an hour, because I'm just going to be honest, some of the people just want a friend, and then they don't end up buying anything, and they don't end up doing anything, and they just want to talk to someone and have someone listen to them. I'm not a therapist, so I couldn't do that anymore. It was cutting into family time. So for me, I think the easiest way is voice message through Facebook. You say it really quick, they hear your excitement, and then they're able, and it's so funny how they will comment back or, message me back through voice, and I'm like, they totally sound different than what I would have ever imagined, because they can be so bland and boring in their messages, and I'm like, man, they're kind of standoffish. And then they speak to me, and I'm like, holy cow, this person's awesome. So you have to think, people probably think that about you too, if you think that about others. Chrissy said, mostly people who have tried a bunch of programs and never finished. Most are plus size women who have not found anything that has worked. So I would, I was actually going to do a live video about this tonight. Instead of pushing a product, make a group that says, and you could, if this is you, but I happen to be an habitual program quitter. Country Heat is the first program I've completed all the way through since 21 Day Fix. And I was so mad to kind of say that once I realized it. And the only reason I realized it is I went to go turn in my Country Heat results, and the last pictures that I had uploaded were 21 Day Fix when it released 2 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the last program I completed start to finish and took a before and after. So you could do an habitual program quitter group and say, have you, done these programs before in the past, and you started and quit? Maybe you need something like Beachbody On Demand that helps you have variety, because I was totally that person when I was pregnant. I couldn't just wake up and follow Max 30 all the way through, because some days I felt like total crap and it just wasn't possible. So you have to think about that too. And especially with me postpartum, I've been able to relate to more plus size women, because I had I gained 70 pounds during my pregnancy. So I've got a lot of weight to lose. I've already lost the majority of it. I've got about 30, 35 pounds to go. But I was able to identify finally with people who have a long journey ahead of them. And a lot of those people are currently in my free boot camp right now doing Beachbody On Demand. And they absolutely love it, because day 4 of 21 Day Fix, we all know it, people are sore as heck and they don't want to keep going, and they tend to fall off, especially for people who haven't worked out in a while. they tend to get discouraged. But in this group, it was so funny. Like, they got really sore on days 3 and 4, and I said, do yoga on Friday, and so they're still getting results. So they're still moving. They're still going to get those results. So I would, even talk about maybe how you didn't finish, so many programs in the past, and it can relate to those people, and then start a group with these people and say, listen, it's okay if you haven't completed a complete program, but let's do Beachbody On Demand together. And at least commit to working out at least this many days a week and drinking Shakeology this many days and committing to that. Let's see. What are top 5 things for new coaches to know and understand when starting our business and helping people to change their lives? Top 5 things. First of all, not to be salesy, I think, is a big thing to remember as a new coach, is not just spam your news feed as soon as you become a coach. The other thing would be just following the vital behaviors. So making sure that you're a product of the product, that's huge. So this would basically be the next 4 top things. So being a product of the product, making sure that you're posting on social media, and because this whole call is kind of about this, but people don't know what you're doing as much as you might think they do. And with Facebook algorithms, a lot of the stuff that you post may not even be being seen. And I don't know how many times I've posted about something, about a group, and I thought, okay, everybody's already seen this post, but I'm going to post another call out for it. And I do, and people didn't see it before. So you have to remember, people are busy and they don't see those things. And then the other thing would be, the other top 5 that I would add in there is making sure that you learn how to manage your time early on. Because for me, I kind of fell in love with the business pretty quickly and lost track of time, but I was doing busy work, stuff that was not adding value to my business and was not building my business. And I didn't have an upline or a coach helping me at all. I had to teach myself everything. So I was kind of clueless. So I spent a lot of time YouTubing and Googling. But for me, I wish somebody would have been able to be there and said, okay, here's what you need to do. And obviously you guys might have a tracker that you use, but there's the business activity tracker with Beachbody that tells you exactly what you need to do every single day. How many days does so my boot camp, it's all online, so it's not in person or anything like that. It's 21 days. I've never done this before. Normally my free groups are 7 days. I recommend that they're shorter, 7 to 14 days. Just because you don't want it's a lot of work for you for 21 days to do. I just wanted to do something completely different because my business had slowed down a little bit. So I wanted to do something, like I said in those posts, something that would knock the socks off my followers. So what this did is it got a lot of people who had said no in the past into Beachbody On Demand, and a lot of people who have no idea what Beachbody is, into this group, and they're like, wow, there's so much that you guys have to offer. So utilizing those free bod trials is so important, you guys. And I think it's huge for our businesses, and most of the people end up keeping it. Like I said, you guys might agree or disagree, but I think that we are moving more in the digital spectrum of things, and I think that there's going to be more and more released on Beachbody On Demand, and I think that there'll be more incentives for us to get customers on Beachbody On Demand in the future. So that's kind of where my heads went. And like I said, I had fitness program ADD, and I would jump from program to program and not finish one. So for me, Beachbody On Demand was ideal, and so it might be for a lot of other people too. Oh, Tara, thank you. I appreciate that. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll try to get to you as soon as possible. I got the newborn, of course, like I said, so it does take me a little bit longer than usual. But do you guys have any other questions? And it can be totally not related to branding and all of that.
Anything else, guys? And to add on that one question that about the person who says, as a new coach, expect to hear no, guys. It's okay. No doesn't mean forever. You're going to have the average person tell you no 5, 10. You're going to have people blow you off. You're going to have people say, I'm committing to this date, and they're going to blow you off for another month or 2. And it's just going to happen. It's just the way it is. But as long as you stay plugged in, as long as you show you're a part of what you're doing and you're proud of who you are going to attract people. And the next thing is also remember is your job is to connect then introduce and build friendships. That's all we do. We connect to people. We introduce them to what we're about, introduce to our products, introduce them to what our lives are like, and then we approach them. If they say no, okay, we'll rebuild. Also, try to use third-party tools as much as you can. You know what? There's a reason why Beachbody gives you the tools. When you're a brand new coach, you are not supposed to be explaining everything. Use your upline, use the videos, use whatever you can, because if you're out there you'll ruin your market, because they're going to look at you and you're going to be stumbling over yourself beyond belief rather than taking notes and learning from somebody who's already experienced. 4 is I would say never be scared to give out samples and give free value. As Brook had said, don't worry about, the $2 or the $4 packet of Shakeology that you just handed out, or the $2 packet of Energize. Look at it as like, hey, if I get this in 10 people's hands and one person buys it, I just made my money back. So there is nothing wrong with ever investing. Again, we are marketing a lifestyle. And the best way to market is oftentimes letting people try it themselves, which is why this BOD deal is huge. I mean, it's so cheap right now. And don't be scared to get people on it. And finally, stay true to your why, your office hours. Make sure your family is in alignment with the hours that you're putting into this business. Because if you're not going to put that time in, that you're not going to consistently show up in, if you can't make that work around your family time, then you have to readjust your business hours. Because you know what? You don't want your family getting upset because you're working a business, because you should be doing this business for your family. So that's my best advice, guys.
You answered that way better than me. I was caught off guard with that answer or that question.
Okay.
No, but that was perfect, and completely agree. The no's are gonna come, and I wish somebody would have been there to tell me, like, don't take it personal. Like, you just can't. You have something amazing to offer. And one thing that I do like, and you may agree too, I feel like a lot of my coaches that are coming in right now aren't taking the time to understand everything that we offer as coaches. Like, our entire library that we have to offer as coaches is pretty incredible. I think people forget, like, that we have the boosts, and people tend to think, oh, we just have Shakeology and the fitness program I'm doing. You have to get knowledgeable with all the other things so that you can help connect people to these programs. Just like taking a college course, you're going to try to figure out and study about everything that you have to learn about to take a test. Think about your client when they come to you and give you their problems and everything. It's kind of like a test. Okay, what do I have in my back library of things I can give to this person and help them? And that helps with your confidence, and whenever you get more credibility that way. So let's see. I think there was one more question. Do you want me to answer it?
If you can, I'll answer as well. I mean, you can go first. I'll give what I think. Go ahead.
Okay. Was it the last? Because there's actually 2. So somebody said, I have access to college students. Should I try to reach out to them, even though that's not social media necessarily? Absolutely. That's like a huge market. I have actually had Fit Club. Have you guys talked about Fit Clubs? Because that is like huge for college kids. Get together, whether you're in a dorm room or wherever you're at, find an area and be like, hey guys, I'm going to do my workout. You can come do it with me. You don't have to teach it. You actually can't teach it legally unless you have a certification. You just play the DVD. Go to a room in your dorm or wherever and do the workout together, and then offer some samples of Shakeology after, and just get connected to people that way. Like I was saying, with social media being noisy, and we're going to need to be getting creative. My husband and I have not done Fit Clubs, but we're actually looking at doing that now, because we have to get more creative sometimes with our business, and try new things. So Fit Clubs would be huge. And then Jules said, I work on the road and work 11-hour days. I live in my holiday trailer as well. Do you have suggestions on how to manage my time? Tough some days to stay motivated. So I think that you just have to make it a priority. You have to have a big why for why you're doing this. What is your why? Have you dug deep? I always tell people, find the why that makes you cry, peel back the layers like an onion and get to the very center of why you're really doing this. And then time management doesn't become an issue. Even though people always say, I don't have time. It really is like one of the most wasted things besides money. So you're probably wasting time elsewhere, even though you don't think so. But there are ways to find more time. And I don't want to come off harsh or anything like that. But you probably have a better answer for that. So you go ahead and answer.
No, I was going to say is, it goes like there's a book called Eat That Frog. And if you have to start out your day getting up early, read some positive affirmations, fill your mind with something really good for like 15 minutes, and then go do your power hour or whatever. I mean, that's what you have to do. I mean, the truth is we all have 24 hours. There's busy moms, there's single moms that are out there that have 2 jobs or work in this business, building huge businesses. They have no excuses. There's dads that are doing the same thing. There's people that are in school full-time, working full-time, still finding a way to make this happen. There were corporate attorneys that have become 6-figure earners who literally, if you're a corporate attorney, you are around the clock on call, and you normally work like a 14-hour day. So the truth is you have to ask yourself why you're doing it again, that why. And if it comes down to it, you wake up earlier and just say, you know what, you got to listen to someone that motivates you, whether it be Eric Thompson or maybe it's Danny Johnson or whoever. Find someone that you can plug into that gives you motivation and gives you tough talk a little bit too. Gives you it real, gives it to you raw, and just roll with it. And after you take 15 minutes just to fill your mind up with something good, then you go to work, because then you're in a different mind frame. Also, I like to tell you, like, when you wake up in the morning, I want you to practice smiling. Just smile. It makes you naturally happier. The more you smile, you'd be surprised. There's positive endorphins that can release in your mind. If you're walking to work in the morning, you may hate your job and you're thinking this is going to be such a long day. Instead, smile on your walk in the door and just keep smiling. Just keep telling yourself, this is going to be a good day. The day's going to fly by and good things are going to happen. At the end of the day, you have to own and become your own change agent, just as Jonte said. And it comes down to like last week's team call where Jonte led. It's a decision you make. And if you're really serious about what you say you want to have happen, it's gonna pull you into the work. It's not just I'm gonna have to go to work. You're gonna be pulled into it with a passion.
And I'm a perfect example of this. So I worked 12-hour hygiene days, and my advice to you, like specifically things that you can do on those 11-hour days, is instead of having a power hour, I had power 15s. So anytime I had a break between patients and my patient was late or didn't show up, I was back in the lounge area, and I'd get on Facebook and message who I was supposed to message. I didn't get on Facebook and scroll. I didn't go up front and chat and gossip. During lunch break, I didn't go with people to lunch anymore who I worked with. Might sound cruel, but I stopped going with them, and instead I ate lunch in my car, and I got on a leadership call that my upline Josh Spencer would hold, and I'd listen to calls, or I'd find a way. I'd listen to the national wake up calls. I'd contact people, and so I had power 15s, and then I would have power days. So since my weeks were like so crammed together and I was so busy, I always made sure, like he said, wake up early. I got up at 4:30 on mornings that I worked, listen to Tony Robbins because he kicked my ass. Then I'd work out, go to work. My work was so miserable that it kept me motivated. It was like a dark cloud around my work. So I would listen to personal development to and from work to keep me in the right mindset. And then on Saturdays, I had off, Saturdays and Sundays. So I'd spend 4 hours on Saturday, and that would be kind of like my catch-up day to catch up with everything. So Fridays were my follow-up days because people usually got paid on Fridays. So Fridays were my follow-up days. Saturdays I called like my blitz invites. So I would like send out 60 invites or follow up with 60 people or whatever it was. And then throughout the week, I would just try to catch up with those. Instead of, we have the business activity tracker that tells you to do this many a day. I always tell my team that's an average per day. If you need to do it all at once, one time a week, do it. And then that way you can catch up throughout the week.
I think that's it. We really appreciate the time you took today, Brooke. Thank you for sharing with that link. I want to say, guys, if you can, I'm actually recording this call. I don't do it too often because I do look at these as business meetings you should make. But if you found value at this, do me a favor and shoot her a message. Just say thank you. Thank you. You can find her. Her name's Brooke Dorsett. Just say thank you to her. Brooke, you've been a wonderful, wonderful guest. Thank you. You've provided so much value to our team. For everybody who is on the call, I'm gonna give everyone just one thing of personal development I want you guys to listen to over the next month. There's a movie on Netflix, or you could get on Amazon, and it's called I Am Not Your Guru by Tony Robbins. And if you have not watched it, it's going to be a call. We're going to have it in 3 weeks. We're going to be talking about it on our call. And I'm going to ask everybody who does show up for that call to share a personal experience for about 2 minutes at a time about what they got from it. And I'm going to be honest, Tony Robbins is going to swear a lot, so you may not want to have your kids in the room as he's talking. But at the end of the day, it's something that will take you along for the ride. And I do think it is. If you did get a lot of value there, Brooke did give you an access to her drive on this topics tonight. Thank you again, Brooke. That's very, very kind of you. And seriously, not everyone is that gracious to offer such value. And I got to tell you guys, she's always offering network to the whole network wide leaders. She's always offering value. She's a phenomenal partner, even cross line in this business. To that, she's always helping other people. And I got to tell you, I'm very fortunate enough to be able to have you on this call. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. And I'm going to post too, because I think I told you guys that I would do this, a tracker that can help people track their business. And for time management, if you go to my YouTube, I have a YouTube on an app called 30/30 that actually times your power hour or your power 15s, and you can set it up too. So if you guys want to check all that out.
All right.
All right. Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Thank you again, guys. Thank you, Brooke. Have a good one. Talk to you guys. Bye.